Welcome to this Fundamentals Lesson Plan series on building documentation, sections, and elevations. In video 1, we'll take a look at creating a new section view of the model. This is video 1 of 9. My name is John Harridge, and I will be your host for today's lesson. Let's look at the learning objectives for video 1. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to create a section view of the model using the section tool. Next, we'll take a look at editing scale properties of the section view so that you'll know what scale it will appear when printed on a sheet. And then last, we'll take a look at clipping properties of the section view, as well as crop region controls and manipulations. With that, let's get started. Let's begin this exercise by opening up an existing file. Go ahead and click Open, and then navigate to your tutorial directory. And let's go ahead and open the Building Docs Exercise 01 project file. Let me begin this exercise with an instructor-only demo, so please watch and listen. Sections are a type of model view. It's just a glimpse into the model that actually shows a cut plane and then an elevation beyond that. And so to begin, let's take a look at in Project Browser here. And sections are a category of views, so you'll see that it's missing. There should be a sections category below elevations, and we're going to create a section view to establish that folder. So to begin, let me open up the first floor elevation view. And we place sections in a plan view to help understand its context to the floor plan. Now, sections are found on the View tab. And again, in the Create panel, you'll find the section tool. It's like placing a line. You pick a starting point on screen. That's where the section head appears. And then the second point defines the extents of that cut plane and also the end of that drafting convention of the section mark. Now, the section plane is the blue line that was initially established, and the green dashed line represents the depth of the section, or how much of the building model that you'll elevate beyond the cut plane that you established a moment ago. Note that there's also the ability to modify what's called the crop region boundary. So we can use these shape handles to modify the extents of that crop region. In addition, section markers are flexible. You can always pick them up and move them to position them exactly where you need them. You could also use sections as a working view of the model to help you model as need be. So it doesn't always have to be the finished view of the project. So now that we have a sections category, I'll go ahead and open up the sections view, and you can see the net result of that. And now I'm just tiling the available model views that are currently open. So on the top view, you have the section view. On the left, in the bottom left is the floor plan, and in the right-hand side is the 3D view that we started from. So if I select one of the exterior walls of the stair tower, you'll note that it's a parametric building information model. That same wall highlights in all corresponding model views, so that we know that we're working from the same element. Now, if I select the section marker in plan view, let's say we don't want to show the appearance of the stair tower in that section view. Just by using the drag handle, I can pull that back clip boundary inside of the stair tower and note that it disappears from the section view in the top left. But note that it's a non-destructive manipulation. It does not destroy the model whatsoever. You saw that in the 3D view. Returning back to the floor plan view, let's look at modifying the section mark. Obviously, you can drag the endpoint of that without changing the section properties of the view. In addition, we can also control the appearance of the end symbols just by clicking on the cycling icon. Next, we'll take a look at flip grips for section views. So I'll go ahead and window tile all the model views. And when you select the section marker in plan view, you'll see that there's like a double arrow next to the section head. That's the flip grip that allows you to change the orientation of that section mark. And without creating a new view, I can see the model in the opposite direction. Now let's take a look at some other drafting conventions here. One thing you can do is also create a gap in the line work in the section marker by clicking on that little gap icon at the midpoint of the section mark and then taking the shape handles and dragging them to the locations of interest. Last, we'll take a look at looking at section views from a model view orientation, but first I will create a duplication of the default 3D view. And if I right click in the canvas window, you'll note in that default pop-up menu there's not a way to orient the view to an elevation. However, the secret is in the view cube. When you right click on the view cube, you do have the ability to reorient the view to a section. But first let's orient it to a elevation view. So it's facing the same direction as the section cut that we placed a moment ago. And now let's go ahead and reorient this to the section view that we just created. This might be useful when you need to make some design changes that might be more appropriate in a 3D view. Now, 2D section views are useful in terms of building documentation, but the other thing that's kind of cool here is when you reorient that section view in a model view to an isometric view, using the home icon on the view cube, you can actually see it, which gives you depth, which helps you to understand sections better in a spatial relationship. And so I just tiled all the views, and that crop region now is a section box in a 3D view. That's why it has that wireframe surrounding that. That wireframe is editable. If you select it and take the drag handles from a face, you can push it in or out and further iterate on this to show exactly what part of the model you wish to see. This concludes the instructor demo. Next, let me clean up the environment to get back to the start point of the exercise. Go ahead and make the 3D view the current view and zoom to fit. All right, so let's move forward together in this hands-on exercise. Go ahead and please open the ground floor plan view. Again, the section view is located on the View tab in the Create panel. Go ahead and locate that. And go ahead and select the section tool. Again, it requires 2 points on screen to define that section mark. So left click approximately in this location. That's where the section head will appear. Drag your cursor off to the right. Left click to set the endpoint of the section mark. Again, the blue line represents the cut plane, and the dashed green boundary represents the depth of the section view, also known as the crop region. All right, let's take a look at the section view properties that can be found in the properties palette if the section marker is still selected. So what's the intended scale that it should appear on a sheet view. That's set by the view scale. If we want to modify the far clip offset, we can scroll down a little further and actually specify that with precision is one way to go about this. So let me swipe the existing value and replace it with a new value. I'll type in 40 feet and hit the apply button to accept. And now you saw that that back boundary moved inwards into the stair tower. A more friendly way to do it visually is just to click and drag that handle inside the model. Let's go ahead and release the left mouse button at approximately this location. All right. Note that the section view now appears in Project Browser. And to open up the section view, just simply double left click. We want to make it easier to see the stairs on the left-hand side, so select the crop region boundary that surrounds the section view, and let's look at some other properties here. First thing that we want to do is unmark the crop region visible and set the far clip offset value to 10 feet. And click apply to accept. And that helps clean up the section view just so we can see things clearer within that scope of the project. With that, let's go ahead and save the file as a new project. So navigate to your tutorial directory, go ahead and give it the name Building Documents Exercise 1 Finished. Click Save after you give it a name. This concludes this exercise. Let's take a look at next steps. Let's review the learning objectives for video 1. In this lesson, you were able to create a section view of the model. Next, we looked at setting the scale properties of the section view, so you'll know what scale it appears on a sheet. And then last, we looked at clipping properties for the section view, so that you can control exactly what you want to see within that section view. With that, let's take a look at Autodesk resources that are available to you. I would like to make you aware of two Autodesk resources. The first resource is the Autodesk Education Community, where you can access free software for both students and educators for titles like Autodesk Revit featured in this series. The website address is www.students.autodesk.com. Registration is required to access the free software using either your personal email address or your school-issued email address. The second resource is the Autodesk Digital STEAM Workshop. It's hands-on, project-based learning across multiple industries such as architecture, engineering, and entertainment. The website address is www.digitalsteam.autodesk.com. Registration is required to download the free learning resources using your Autodesk ID created from the Autodesk Education Community. You will find the Fundamentals of Architecture series under the Subject pull-down menu, Architecture link. Assets include step-by-step instructions, datasets, and videos. This concludes this lesson overview summary. Thank you for watching.